Yo, yo, yo. It's Thursday night, the best night of the week.
Best night of the week.
This is Reverse Polarity, and I am your boy High Five Vega, joined as always by the man who never sleeps, the guy who only works on Ford F 150s, the man who once flew a little too close to the sun, Dean Bayette.
That's why I have all these freckles.
What's up, Dean? How's it been?
You're looking rather dapper.
Oh, thanks, man. Yeah, see, I got the
Yeah.
button up, and yeah.
Yeah, I got the undershirt looking like just came from the office.
Hey, listen, I'm an office worker now. I have to live up to the standard.
Hey, congratulations.
Yeah.
My heart goes out to you.
Yeah. Now I get to watch everyone else work hard.
God.
Unfortunately, I wish it was really like that. But honestly,
right?
work way too hard. Still, not physically as hard, but just faster.
Fernando makes me hold the phone on Instagram on purpose so that he looks like he's always doing something. And I'm like, I'm sitting there with the phone, like lollygagging around, and no.
It's like one of those perspective things.
Yeah. Because he'll go, we should go on to Instagram because he's like doing something important. And I'm like, oh.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, it's like the picture we had in front of the Egg and I place, the little breakfast spot.
Yeah.
That you took where we all kind of look similar height.
Yeah.
They're like, everyone's like, I thought Dean and Fernando were a lot shorter, or you're shorter than I thought. Like, no, Dean's a pro, man. He's got the picture down.
That's why I'm teaching the Great Shots class and Knowledge Fest.
There you go.
That is done. Yeah. How's your week been?
Been good, man. I have not put a YouTube video out in 2 weeks.
What?
The Troopers in full-on rebuild mode. I had to make the executive decision.
Okay.
It's like either get this done 2 days a week, and I'm talking complete. I pulled the whole interior out, reran the wires,
right?
Just like it was new, like a new install. And we only got about halfway there, so I still got to work on this week. But hopefully, I have my video done this week.
Nice.
But yeah,
it was. What's up, Scott? No, it was rough this week because I wanted to go see Top Gun this past weekend, and that just wasn't in the cards. So I had to go last night. So I had to stay up like super late Tuesday night, getting videos for Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. Because I was like, oh man, screw those. No, I got to do this.
Right.
And so it's funny you said the F-150 thing, because obviously that's the video that's up this week.
Right.
We shot. So I store we shoot everything and I catalog it onto a hard drive under the year. And when I'm done, I just delete everything. Like I don't save anything. It all just gone. And I still had a 2020 folder, and I'm like, why do I still have a 2020 folder? And I opened it up, and like there's like 2 or 3 cars in there, and I'm like, holy crap! Wait, really?
Lost footage.
Lost footage. So that video was from 2022 or 2020. So I was like, let's edit it. It was. I mean, it was funny because you could tell when we shot it, we knew we didn't want to shoot it. Like, well, I mean, like we tell you this in the whole beginning. Like, listen, just we know it's another F-150, but we're not going to talk about the fact that it's an F-150. We're going to go through the process of installing an aftermarket amplifier in a car and the steps that because we addressed a lot of the questions that people ask about knowing, like how do I find the harness? Well, you got to take the radio out of the dash. And then you got to do some research.
And that's why I had to use the second intro. But one thing of advice you did get good in there that people I don't think realize is it's not just that the F-150 is aluminum that makes it hard to get a good ground plane. It's the way that it's glued together.
Yeah,
it's causing you so much trouble.
And there again, and I also say, hey, look, man, some people they do it. They have perfect whatever.
They have one factory ground spot in there, right?
Oh, they have 2. They have several.
2.
There's several. There's So there's two behind on the rear firewall.
Right.
They're up in the corners by the windows. By the window. There's two factory ground points up high that you can
Yeah.
grab. And it's like I know plenty of guys that use them. And they're like, "Oh no, never have a problem." I'm like, "Good. Hey."
Yeah. I mean, in that situation, I would probably, especially you're selling this to a customer, like a service to a customer.
Yeah.
But even personally, like if I was doing my personal build, I would probably just run power and ground as well.
Well, and like I always tell them, the only reason why we do it is because of that. When Nav TV first came out with the A to B piece, they
Right.
lost their shit and we're like, "Hey, man, you guys got to do it this way, or we're not going to warranty it." And it's like, all right. I mean, I'll charge the guy another $100 for another run of zero gauge. I mean,
Right.
we're in it this deep anyways. Let's just keep going. The hole's not done. What's another 20 feet of zero gauge
Yeah.
and another zero gauge run along the floor sill? Oh my god.
That's got to be fun.
Oh,
That's the fun part.
it's not as bad as it seems. Like
Right.
in the F-150, it's actually pretty easy. In the new one, the 2022 body, it's even
Yeah.
easier. It's like, oh my god, wow! It's like they knew.
I'll tell you what, the Trooper, man, there's a bundle along
Mhm.
under the seal. It's probably like 2-aught or 3-aught
Yeah, yeah.
size,
It's
when
all
they
old
wrap it up.
wiring. Yeah.
Yeah, so it's like now, like when I could get it in there, but it's not it doesn't just fit in there easy. I
Well,
have to
that's
put
why
it underneath there and tuck it,
well,
and
that's why
yeah.
people ask. They'll be like, why don't you run a zero gauge? Why do you run 2 4 gauge?" And it's like, because it fits.
Right.
you know, because we can run that. They sit flat. They go like
Right.
this. They're not. You know, it's not like stuffing a
Yeah.
freaking garden hose through the side of the car.
Didn't I
You
watch
know,
one where you just done 10? Did you just do a 10 gauge?
Maybe I don't
I
know.
think so. Yeah. Yeah, I can't remember. I think it was a kicker key
Oh,
upgrade.
it was probably a 10 gauge then.
Yeah, yeah, 10
Yeah,
gauge kicker
yeah, it's
key.
probably the one we're doing now. Yeah, or
Yeah,
or I don't know. Yes, if it's a key, it's a 10 gauge
right.
because I think the amp has a 12 gauge. I don't know. Anyone going to Slamology besides Bill Brown will be there from Kicker. That I do know.
Oh.
Um, but
Oh, I know there's a few of them going from kicker. I'd love to go one day. It's just not in the cards this year because
it's
we're going
just
on a cruise.
Indiana, man. It's like
Yeah, well, agreed. Yeah, I agree.
it's like if I had nothing else to do,
Right.
nothing else to do at all, yeah. But it's like I don't know how it fell on the same weekend as Knowledge Fest, but man, I don't know.
Yeah. I'd love
I,
to go, man. It looks like a fun show. I mean, I think it'd be cool.
I like the what did he say? He was like, I'd like the Brian. I'd like to see the impedance test done to see if grounding on the F-150 chassis is actually an issue. Yeah, I mean, sure. Honestly, it's one of those things where, yes, that would be great, and
Yeah.
it. No one's gonna do it though. Um,
Yeah.
we had actually toyed with the idea, and we bought all the parts to do it, and then we never did it. We were going to take those battery load tests that you can buy there. It's basically
Mhm.
like an oven coil,
Yeah, it's like a
where it's just yeah,
carbon load tester or something.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah. So we bought one of those, and what we were going to do is take that, connect it to do 2 voltmeters, and then one side positive, and then have like a really long ground lead on it, and then go to what we thought was a good ground point in the car, clip
Right.
it on, and flick the switch, and see, do a constant, meaning go to the factory battery,
Right.
and then go to where we thought and just see the difference between a load here and a load there, and
Right.
we were, just we never got around to building it because we were like, that'd be cool. That'd be a good way. Because, the problem is that you need to put the load on it.
Right.
Yeah, it's a ground. Like if you take a voltmeter and you go here to here, yeah, it's a ground. It's going to work.
Right.
But until you put 200 amps of current through it, you're really not going to know. So, it's like, okay, who wants to take the time to do that, or just run a ground wire and call it a day
Right.
and not worry about it? So,
Yeah,
Not worried about
especially li like I'm saying, like, if you're a DIY person and this is gonna be good enough for you, fine, but that's not what you're doing. You're literally selling this to somebody, a service of the install, so if anything happens, or there's any weird anything,
it. Hmm.
guess what's gonna happen? They're gonna be,
Yeah, yeah.
"Hey,
I mean,
this is
and
messed up."
I always laugh when somebody goes, "Well, you're running a ground wire though." Why? And it's like, slow it down. Same thing.
Yeah,
And guess what? They've put electronics in fiberglass boats for a really long time.
right,
It's okay.
right. Yeah,
DC, it's closed circuit, man.
yeah,
They don't draw a picture of a car when they're making a DC circuit. You know, like positive,
right.
positive, negative battery, and then a light bulb over here. You draw the power, and then you put a picture of a car with two wires coming out of it going,
Yeah.
that's how you hook up a DC. Now, as far as how much do we charge for anything in the store, I have no idea.
That's a Paul question, huh?
That is not a Dean question. Dean doesn't care. It's
Yeah.
not my job. I gotta know enough shit, knowing how much stuff costs. That ain't one of them. You know,
Right.
we made that division between church and state a long time ago. Yeah, I mean, I have an idea sometimes, but
Right.
like how much is I have no idea.
Well,
I
and
it,
copper's just like the price of copper is just every day. And like wire, me buying wire,
oh, it
I've
sucks.
felt that big time. So
Yeah,
I know you guys have too.
yeah. I mean, for us, it's just a matter of like just trying to get stuff. You know,
Right.
it's still, here we are 3 years into this, and it's still like I needed a 200 amp fuse today.
Yeah.
And it's like, how are we out of 200 amp fuses? I mean, we found one, but it's
Yeah.
like, how are we out of 200? Well, they didn't have any. Call somebody else. I mean, I ran
Yeah.
a 4-inch zip tie. Amp didn't have any 4-inch zip ties, and I'm like, how do you guys not have 4-inch zip ties? I'm like, well, I'm like, no, no, hold on. While they're still on the phone, I went on Amazon, typed in 1,000 4-inch zip ties, and I said, hey, look, Amazon, 1,000 4-inch zip ties. What are you charging me? He told me, he says, all right, well, I'm going to buy them and save some money today. Click.
Yeah.
He's like, fuck you, Dean.
Yeah. I mean,
um,
hey, well, that's how it be sometimes.
uh, as far as interfacing goes, my order goes iData, Pack, um, Metra, and Spiral kind of do this. So if Spiral has it, I'll go Spiral. So but especially on like a German car, if
Right.
Spiral Audio doesn't make something, because Spiral Audio is basically connects to from Europe, rebranded to Spiral,
Right.
and Connects 2 is actually owned by Amp Global, but there's a whole thing that I can't talk about with them that why Amp can't sell them here in the U.S. But yeah, it's some top secret, like can't talk about shit. But um, Metra's usually, when it comes to harnesses, the last one I'm going to go with. Not it's nothing against
Yeah.
Metra. It's just my preference for interfacing. That's just for interfacing, not everything, because there's plenty of parts that I use that are Metra that I will go to them first, um, because they make some really great stuff. Everybody makes stuff, and we
Yeah.
can't all hit it out of the park and everything. iData, when it comes to interfacing, they're the last one to show up, but guaranteed theirs will be the best.
Like
Like hands
Apple.
down, theirs will be the best. It'll work. It'll do everything you need it to. It'll be like if it's not flawless, it's like there's usually something wrong with the car that's causing it not to be flawless.
Right.
So we've ran into situations like that where the harness is literally too smart for the install, because there's like body control issues with the car, and
Right.
it's just like, because a dumber harness will work fine, but this one that's trying to report all these things, it's like, no, it ain't gonna work. And a lot of people get confused. They think that the only thing they can use an iData harness on is an iData compatible radio, and that's actually not true. The It's still a standard, what I'll call dumb smart harness,
Yeah.
even if you don't have. So like if you buy an Alpine ILX W650, you can still use an iData interface for it if you're putting it in a car that needs an interface. You just don't get the on-screen prompts for gauge cluster and like doors and tires and stuff. but it's still a nicer harness, and I like it because you program the steering wheel. See, this is counterproductive to what everyone else feels. Everyone else feels you open a box, it has a harness in it, you wire it up, you put it in a car, and you're done. Idea is every time you go to put it into the car, you plug it into the computer, you tell it make, model, year, all the features the car has, what you want every steering wheel control button to be. It has defaults, but you can
Right.
say, I want up to be down, down to be up. It'll do that. Or and so you program it all. So everything is done. You put it in the car, and you know that these buttons are going to do what they're supposed to. Whereas like Pack,
You have to try to sign them together, right? Like,
for some reason, Pack has like push to talk is mute.
right.
And they've never changed it, and they're not going to. So you have to end up reprogramming the steering wheel controls, and you're like,
Yeah.
God. But there again, it's not all their modules; it's some of their modules. Some of their modules they use green for reverse. Some of their modules they use purple white for reverse, and it's like this is
Yeah.
fucking annoying.
And were they, what was the one, the TR12 that they don't make any longer?
Yeah, yeah,
The programmable trigger.
yeah.
That thing, like the first time I used one of them, I was like, what in the hell? I mean, I had to go through the manual twice.
Oh yeah.
And watch your video. And then I was like, okay, now I gotta now I know what I'm doing. But if you're
I
just
gotta
shooting
watch
in the
my
dark,
video, man. It's
yeah,
like,
it's like,
well, so Metra does make something like that called the trigger.
yeah,
Which does all that same TR7 type shit, which is cool, and this is cheaper. So,
right.
so I'm down,
There you go.
because
And
I just
and they
need to
don't
use
even
them.
make the TR12 anymore.
Right.
So
Any chance of a video of secret tips and tricks for kicker key? I know you have some secrets Vega let out of the bag. I'm asked. Um, yeah, it's funny. So the answer is immediately no, but maybe it'd be the easiest answer for that, because
Knowledge Fest.
we are going to be actually talking about that at Knowledge Fest. We just got done building. I had to go in early today, because we were going to use their display to do our class. So Kicker has us doing their class and they were like, "We want you to do our class." I'm like, "You have trainers. Why do you want us?" And they're like, "No, we want you to do it." And we're like, "Why?"
Yeah.
Well, you got great trainers. I mean, why do you want us? And
Because
they're
you
like, "We
always say
do."
yes.
Yeah,
Because you
and
always say
I
yes.
said yes, but I was like, so we told them what we wanted to do, and they're like, okay, well, we have those props, and I was like, okay, cool. And then I thought about it, and I was like, I don't want to use their props, I want to use our props. So I went in this morning, and because we've accumulated all the pieces except for one. We're waiting for a set of Q class 6.5s. But I made a whole display that has like a key 501, the key lock has two IRTA 2s that we're going to show you input output, and have it mirror up onto the big screen, because we found out that if you have an Apple TV HD or 4K, you can stream to it without Wi-Fi.
Yeah. Yep.
Oh yeah, everyone knew that, but me.
Yeah.
Yeah, thanks guys. So we're going to we've tested it, so we're going to stream the whole thing, and a lot of hands-on, as far as we're not going to have PowerPoints and all that other crap.
Right.
But what we're doing is we put the JBL 8-channel amplifier. I feel everyone needs to have anyone doing any form of like best bench work, you
Yeah.
got to have the JBL 8-channel amplifier, because it's the best. Because you can do it's for one, it's 8 channels,
Right.
6 inputs, high level, low level, whatever you want to do. It's fully programmable DSP, and it's this big, and it draws like 20 amps of current. So
Yeah.
we've taken ours and we've hidden it underneath the display we built, and we're having, so we can log. We'll have our laptop up, and we can go through it and change any of the parameters we want right there, and show you as it's happening.
Right.
So we can test the RTA by simply just going into the crossovers and changing the crossover point, and say like, this isn't going to work because it doesn't have this.
And wait, you're not taking this to the Kicker display, are you?
It's underneath.
Oh
You can't
yeah,
see it.
it's a hidden. but
It's
as
hidden.
long as I don't see the software on screen.
I don't care.
Yeah.
Hey, listen, we're using that. This does it. They don't make a
Right.
DSP amplifier.
Right. Anymore. I got some right there, but they're dead.
Yeah, I got one too, but it's still this is a 20 amp. Dude, that's what I'm saying. This thing's 20 amps.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And it's 8 channels of DSP power.
Dude,
I mean,
this thing right here is like 60% efficient.
oh yeah, if that. If that. I mean,
Uh,
yeah. So
sorry, Bill, if you're watching.
what was he watching? What was Stormy asking there?
Wait up, did I miss something?
I don't know. He said anyone. So
It was like a
what's the
Bueller?
what's the most expensive install you've ever done? Probably the one I got coming up in yeah, the one I got coming up next or end of this month. So okay, well not next week, but the week after. So a customer of ours that we did the Lightning, we did the Ford Lightning with all the Audison, Voce,
Yeah.
full DA system in. He's got a new car and he wants to do a system in that. So we're going with a Brax
Oh,
system.
damn.
So he's bought all the Brax. We couldn't do the amplifiers he wanted. He wanted the really big Brax amplifiers, but they wouldn't
Right.
physically fit in the car. So we're doing the next tier down, AB class. So it's going to be three Brax amplifiers and one Helix amplifier. Because of the sub, we need a the sub amp in the Brax line really didn't do what we needed it to do.
Yeah.
So we went with the Helix sub amp, and then he's got the Brax DSP, which is like $4,000 or $5,000.
Yeah.
They're pretty. They're
Everything
pretty
Brax is like
Brax
Helix.
is, yeah.
Helix you can get. I mean, Helix is not cheap, but you can get reasonable. I would consider reasonable price Helix stuff. But then you go out to Brax, and it's just that's the top end.
I think Abstract is probably right on Dean, but I don't. So okay, so it's a Dean charges more and has more labor. Realistically, no, we don't charge more. I mean, it's no. I mean, because we know what our like the people around us charge, and we're
Right.
not that far from it. Okay. So this is something that kind of struck me funny this week. I had we have a tree on the side of our house that isn't mine. It's a neighbor's, but you're responsible for trees that grow into your yard. So you
Right.
have to, you have to maintain the tree because he's not going to hop your fence, go in your backyard and cut the tree. If it falls into my yard, well, that's a different story. But
Yeah.
so I told Sue, I said, hey, let's talk to the yard guy and see if he knows somebody that can, take care of this tree. So guy came out and he's going to charge me $900.
Yeah.
For about 2 hours worth of work. Where he's going to bring his little bucket guys and they're going to and gone.
Yep.
And I'm like, cool. So I didn't think anything of it. I was like, yeah, whatever. I don't know what it costs. I mean, but I figure you got a bucket truck, you got a chipper truck, you got probably 2 or 3 guys standing around. So $900 seems about right.
Insurance.
Yeah, insurance, all that crap. So, and if they're whatever. So I'm like, yeah, I don't know. Sounds good to me. It's a big tree. Go to work. So I had a guy this week that complained about a price. So he was in one of our show comments and he complained about a price.
Right.
He was driving from somewhere out of the state. Like that matters because I don't care where you come from. I mean,
right.
That's your problem, not mine. I mean, I'm happy you're willing to make the trip, but I mean, I will gladly try to find, if I know somebody in your neck of the woods, I'll be like, hey, have you talked to this guy? He's really good, and, and then he was complaining about the price he got quoted. And I'm like,
this is not for
2 guys working on your car for 2 days.
Yeah.
Okay. That's a lot of work. Like, like this F-250 that's in there right now. We've been working on that solid for 2 days.
Yeah.
Okay. 2 guys, 2 days putting in this equipment. And I'm like, hey, you know what? I'm sure there's a guy somewhere that can do it in 8 hours.
Yeah.
I know there is. I know plenty of guys that'll knock this thing out. And it won't look like we did it at all.
Yeah.
So that's what you're paying for. You're paying for, and I know somebody that would charge them just as much as we did and still knock it out in 8 hours and have it look like shit. So,
Yeah.
it's okay. It's just what it is. It's whatever you see the value as. If somebody quotes you a price and you think it's too much, then you just don't see the value in it. Then that's all right. It's all right.
Yeah, that's how I
But you
feel.
don't have to blast anybody for it because
Oh yeah.
it's just what it is.
That's
You know?
like with big 3 kits and stuff I sell.
Yeah,
If you need the cheapest kit,
I'm
I'm
not your
not the
guy.
guy. I'm not your guy. I'm also not selling the most expensive kit. But like I'm happy to point you in the direction of the cheapest, best, like the best value for money kit that I think you could get out there right now. And I'm happy to point people in that direction, but don't take it as an affront. Like, hey, can we get a discount? And it's like, well, I don't really do that, man. It's just this is the price, and either
Yeah.
it's fair to you
Hey,
or it's not.
it's just what it is.
And
Yeah. I
I don't
mean,
take it personal. I hope you don't take it personal.
yeah.
Yeah,
And then we'll every now and then we'll get somebody that wants us to do something that we don't do. Oh, I want you to do this. And it's like, I had a guy call me this week and he's like, a friend of mine gave me your name. And I'm like, okay, what do you need?
yeah,
And he's like, I have this, and this, and I need this. And I'm like, all right, listen, I'm not the guy. What do
right.
you mean?
Yeah,
So I'm not the guy. I have no idea what you just said to me. Yes, we do car audio. We don't do that car audio. I don't know what
right,
any of that stuff is. It's not what we do. Sounds like it's good stuff, but we don't build those type of systems. They're
yeah,
like, well, what do you mean? And I'm like, listen, I know this sounds strange, but not all car stereo shops do all car stereo stuff.
right,
There's different facets of car audio now, and it's not like it was in the 90s where everybody did everything. And there are still
yeah,
some shops where they'll do everything even if they suck at something. But
right,
we don't do that. Like, we have this core stuff that we'll do, and that's it. And
right,
this is the house. This is the house. Here's the wheel, and I'm staying in
right.
it because that's what we do. That's what we're proficient at. And I don't need to jump out to like get that. Oh,
No,
I gotta go. No. And he's adamant about having us do this, and we're like,
sorry.
hold on a second.
Yeah, yeah. I feel like if someone is not vaguely aware of what you do as 5 star, what you and Fernando do,
Yeah.
I feel like they're not. You're a customer for you, anyways. There's somebody that is expecting a 1990s version
Oh, dude,
of an install.
I had some dude come in that I don't know what he was. He said he knew who we were, but he really didn't seem like it. And he was just adamant about me mounting his amplifier to his back seat. Just belligerent about me mounting his amp. I'm like, dude, I don't do that.
I don't do that. We don't do that here.
I am not. And it was a 60-40 split. And he's like, just put a board across. I'm like, first things first, I don't have boards. All right. We don't do carpeted boards. It's not our thing. Listen, we might not be the shop for you, and that's perfectly okay. Don't
Right,
get pissed at me because
right,
you've gone to 3 other places and no one wants to do what you want them to do. Maybe get a hint. Maybe get a hint that whatever you're asking is stupid. You know,
yeah,
like, and nobody wants to take the responsibility for it. I mean, I had a guy tell me that I called this shop up and they won't even touch my stuff, and I go, why? What do you mean? He goes, they don't work on anybody's stuff but their own, and I'm like,
I don't
okay.
blame them.
I mean, that's dude.
Yeah,
Part of owning your own business is being able to decide who you want to be your customer.
right,
Not everybody, and I got to have this conversation with dealer roundtables when we're at Knowledge Fest and go, listen, not everyone is going to be your customer, and they
right,
don't have to be. Like, you qualify your customer just like they qualify you. We all want to do business with people. That's what we're here to do. But at the end of the day, if you're asking some crazy shit
right.
or some stuff we're not comfortable with, we have to decide how much value is in it for us. Because if you say yes, well, you're into it, man. You're
Yeah,
into it. And if it's something you're not comfortable doing, and you deliver a crappy product, well,
Yeah.
why? You did it wrong. You weren't, you know,
Well, and it's a
that wasn't good
situation
move.
where you can tell that they're not going to be happy with something, either the
Yeah.
price or they don't like they want you to install it the way they want to install it. And it's
Right.
like, no, it's just not what we do here, man.
You know,
It's
or they, you know, like, you know, the one we had a couple weeks ago where the guy totally agreed on a system, put a deposit down, and then shows up for the install appointment with all his own equipment.
yeah,
And it's like, wait, what? Come inside. Come inside.
yeah,
Come inside. Give me your credit card. All right, here's your money back.
yeah.
Thank you
Bye.
and have a nice day.
Have a nice
You
day.
know,
Go to
and he's just like, what do you mean? I'm like, dude, this isn't how it works. You know,
I
this
gotta
isn't
pop
how
the
it
joke
works.
up.
Do customers get survey to rate their experience with 5-star?
That's part one.
And do you have them tell them about the survey and ask 5-star? Huh. No, we don't do any of that. I mean, that's good. No, no. You know, this. You know, I'll be the first to tell you. You know, I've been doing this a really long time, and I can be surly. I can be like, in the mornings is not the time to talk to me.
Yeah.
You know, I have bad days just like everybody else. You know, I have good, you know, sometimes you're happy, sometimes you're not, sometimes you're up, sometimes you're down.
Yeah.
But you know, I will always try to deliver on whatever promise I make to somebody. And I always try to do good by every install we've ever done. But I also expect a little bit from the customers in return.
Right.
Like if you come to me and, you know, I've had people come to me and go, it makes a noise. And I'm like, what kind of noise? I don't know, a noise. Listen, man, I'm here to help you and I will do the best that I can. But if you can't work with me on a little bit more than it has a noise, we're not going to get very far because I can't fix it has a noise. All right. You need to tell me more. You need to do your part of this, because if I can't get it to make this noise, I can't fix it. You know, that's just how it is. You know, we had a guy this week come in and start giving Fernando some shit. And I didn't know about it until later. But, you know, he started giving Fernando some crap. Like, you know, he's, you know, it's been doing this, doing that. And I'm like, so Fernando comes in and says, I think he's got a blown tweeter. And I'm like, okay. So I turn it up and I was like, that ain't a blown tweeter. But, you know, we checked the tweeter, checked the mid, checked the amp, finally pull the radio out of the dash. And I'm like, we didn't put this radio in. I know. And it turned out there's a bad channel on the radio. And I went over and I said, all right, listen, I have a couple questions. I need answers to them. And I said, where did you get the radio? Well, I got it from you guys. You guys put it in. I said, that was my second question. Who put it in? Because we didn't put it in, because it's put in with butt connectors. We don't have butt connectors.
Yeah.
So let's try again. Who put it in? Now, if you got it from us, it really doesn't matter. I just need to know it's still under warranty. We're still going to take care of it. I just need to know what happened, because this isn't something that we did.
Yeah.
You know, and the guy felt bad. He felt bad because he'd given Fernando a hard time. And, you know, so he gave Fernando $20 and, you know, I was like, whatever. You know, and then another, I had a guy come in. This guy's been a customer of mine for like 20 years. He comes in, he goes, I got a problem with my radio. I was like, okay, go out there, show me what the problem is. He goes, USB doesn't work. It's never worked. I go, it's never worked, ever, never, ever. He goes, no. I said, well, how long? I'm like, when did we do this? You did it 4 years ago. I said, for 4 years, you've been driving your car and your USB hasn't worked. Never once. So, okay. I said, Fernando, grab me the USB. I said, you realize we test every one of these that leaves, right? Like, there's never one that leaves without us testing. It's like, literally, we test. We have to, because it's what we test the mic and we test. I mean, like, come on.
Right.
And he goes, it's never worked. I said, okay. Took the USB, plugged it in my phone. My phone popped on. CarPlay pops on the screen. You go, it works. Took his Android phone, plugged it in. It worked. I said, okay, so what's your other problem? Okay. I don't know what I said, listen, I'm sure there might be an issue with it, but it works. So don't come in here and accuse me of something when you're gonna look like a fool. You know,
Exactly. Yeah, Dean
and
came here to chew bubble gum and solve problems, and he's
yes,
fresh out of bubble gum.
I'm fresh out of bubble gum. And there again, it was no big deal. And
Right.
he wanted to do some speaker upgrades. So we did some speaker upgrades. We had the whole radio apart. And I said, you know what? While we got it all apart, let's put a new USB in. Because clearly, I don't, it's a USB. I don't care. It's like a $10 piece. We pulled it out. We put a new one in, ran it up into the dash, and I was like, hey, listen, nothing from nothing. But since we were in here taking it all apart, I went ahead and put a brand new USB cable in it just because, I don't want you to call me in another 4 years and be like, man, my USB doesn't work. So we just fixed it.
It never worked.
Yeah, it never worked. So we just fixed it. And it's like, hey, it's okay. I get it. People, and I know people don't come in like something is there. There's something wrong somewhere. And it's like, I know you're not crazy. I just have to see the same ghost. Okay.
Right.
Because you can't, I mean, the thing is you just can't start chasing dead ends. It's like, if I can't replicate it, I can't figure out what it is. It's like, I'm not going to replace the whole stereo in your car because once every 6 months you get like a bzz sound from the corner. And,
I'm glad we kind of naturally flowed into this topic, because the topic for the show is just in general, what makes car audio high end. And it's not talking about the price, anything specific. It could be price, it could be the install, it could be anything. And I think Brian still had a good comment earlier.
Okay, so does high cost equal high end? Because I remember those $35 silver flute. Whoa, what happened? Did we lose Hi-Fi Vega? Being used in a $4,000. Okay. Where did he go?
I'm back, man.
What happened?
What happened?
That was neat.
Neat.
StreamYard. Okay, so I okay.
Beep.
Is there some bargain stuff? And I'm going to call it bargain because I'm not going to call it cheap.
Right.
Is there some bargain equipment out there? I feel the answer to that has to be yes. Okay. Years of error again. It always is. It's okay. Do you know her name is Cassie and her husband's name is Dean?
Oh, I did not know. Wait, I did know that. Yeah.
Is that kind of weird? Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah. I thought it was funny. So, I mean, there is some bargain stuff, but not like, so like anyone that thinks they're going to buy a $150, 100 or 1500 watt amplifier and think they got a good product, they're wrong. Okay.
Right.
They are wrong in so many ways. Is it going to do 1500 watts? I'm sure it's going to get really close to it, but at what cost? Meaning, what is it going to take to get that power out of that amplifier? Because we know Derek can put an amplifier on his dyno and it'll put out the power it says it does, but it'll be like 60% efficient.
Yeah.
And it's like for $180, you got an amplifier that needs 3,000 to consume 3,000 watts of power to make 1,500 watts. You're not saving any money because that amplifier ain't ever going to put out 1,500 watts in your little car that's putting out 12.5 volts because that thing is just going to feed me, Seymour. So, but okay, look at something like a Kenwood Exelon product. All right.
Yeah.
The 802.5. It's I think now it's probably $280 because maybe $300 now. Used to be $249 before the world stopped spinning.
Yeah.
Bargain amplifier, hands down, one of the best value 5-channel amplifiers you will find. Okay, I will put it up against all of that online stuff, and it will kick its ass every time. 2-year warranty, better performance, better sound quality, built by Japanese people.
Yeah,
that are actual engineers. Not just a la carte bought off the shelf, some strange shit that you don't know what you're getting, but some dude works at the company and he's like, man, I know some stuff about amplifiers because I've been selling them for 20 years. Different category. Right. Not picking on any of them, but I
was just in this conversation literally earlier today. Um, there's value in companies that have true engineers and not just an engineer or an amp tech.
Yeah.
Someone that has a team of engineers working on something, solving problems. I think people just conflate like, oh well, they have one guy that's their visionary, that's their engineer. He does everything for them, and they don't see there might be a Chinese engineer or a team of Chinese engineers or Korean
Hell yeah.
engineers that are doing a bunch of good work, but it's not. It's like 10 to 15 years behind
Well, they
what
have patents they have to fight with.
right, and it's literally all the newest stuff that, and most of it, I'm just gonna say, is bass head focused stuff. Um, is like 10 to 15 years behind
Oh yeah.
the
Well,
mainstream
and there
technology
again,
for
that
amps and
that
stuff.
comes down to patents.
Yeah, yeah,
Listen, anytime Kickard, Rockford, Audio Control, JL Audio, all these brands,
yeah,
Kenwood, Alpine, Sony, anytime these guys are going to come out with a product, they are patent searching the fuck out of this thing. And if they got some new tech that they're coming out with, guess what? They're going to patent it. Okay.
right.
And that because they're going to take that technology off the market. I mean, we all see this. Look at Tony D. Look what he's doing with his, super efficient battery amplifiers
Right.
that are going to be cool as fuck.
Oh,
He's
yeah, those are gonna
patenting
be
this.
cool. People are getting mad about those, by the way.
Well,
I think it's
it's their
awesome.
whole, meh.
Yeah. I
Come
mean,
on, give
it's
me.
like they're getting mad over the marketing of it. 300% efficient.
Well,
Well,
they're getting
technically,
mad because they're just hating on him because he's
well,
friends with Steve. Let's be
yeah,
honest. I mean,
yeah, and
it's
he gets it.
listen. If anybody in this chat or any one of these guys that hate on him were ever in a room with him and he's lecturing, you'll just shut the fuck up and listen to what he has to say
Right,
because,
exactly.
dude, he's a fucking genius. Like I've had the pleasure, if not
Yeah,
the honor, of being in a room and having him instruct a room full of people and everyone in the room. These are all like top tier 1% guys. We're all in
yeah,
a room. This was like 8 years ago, and it was for Audison, and they flew him in to just do a 2-hour lecture. And I mean, we're talking all the guys,
yeah.
every freaking 1% installer in our industry was somehow in this, and I don't know how I was there, but I was there, and he's up there lecturing. It was the quietest room. You could have heard a pin drop because everyone in there is just like this.
Yeah.
And these are all geniuses, man. These are all the guys. These are all the guys, and they're all just in there like.
Right. Like I
So,
still reference a lot of the videos he puts out.
oh yeah, he's a game
They're not
changer.
like flashy videos. He's just giving you
Oh no,
information,
oh
information,
god, they're so
information.
hard to watch.
Yeah, they are, but
They're
the information is there.
It's
Like
worth it. I've
the
struggled.
balance
Oh
versus
yeah. Oh,
differential
I've struggled through all
RCAs.
of them, man. I've struggled
Right,
through
it's
all of
like
them. But there again, back to the point. Here's a guy, showing you what the standard company philosophy is. If I'm going to invent something, I'm going to patent it because
right.
I don't want these guys to steal it. And talking with engineers, we see this all the time. As soon as like I'm honestly waiting for the Q class amplifier to be released as a Chinese amplifier. Like
Yeah, yeah.
it's gonna
Just
happen. Like it
oh,
is
yeah.
total. It's gonna happen. I mean, it'll be some bunk at. I mean, far as we know, it may have already happened. They just put different software on it because they didn't
Right.
want to get sued. But I mean,
They could
why
have.
not? I mean,
Yeah.
it's they're done. We're not.
It
We
all
don't
it
have to.
all filters down,
Yeah.
like a lot of these cheap amps that you're getting, and some of them are decently efficient. That 150 watt or 1500 watt, $150 amp.
Yeah.
Some of those are decently efficient, but there's designs from literally from the 80s, from the
Right.
early 90s.
Well,
Well,
it's just modern parts.
probably the
Yeah.
mid 90s, because that's when Class D first started coming around like that. Although,
Well,
did you see that Infinity? I don't know if you've seen it. Derek done an old school Infinity, the DPA 250, the first
mm,
full range. What do you think the efficiency is on that at Forum Stereo? Now it falls off a cliff, I will say, so it's quite high at Forum Stereo.
I have no idea.
94%.
Oh wow.
That I was like, wow. I was gobsmacked. And then of course he had the manual. It says like, yeah, you're gonna lose efficiency, you're gonna lose It's not going to play up as high if you go to 2 ohms or you go to 8 ohms. It's
Well,
like
and
built
there,
for
there
four
again,
ohms.
that's because most Class D amplifiers are not 2 ohm amplifiers. Like if you're
Yeah,
doing highs, there's only a handful of amplifiers that are actually designed to like like Audio Control went through great lengths to make their amplifiers play at 2 ohms and sound good.
yeah,
That was a big deal for them that they don't leverage that much right now. Um, a lot of these amplifiers don't do that. So, like, I'll throw out the Kenwood Exelons. The Kenwood Exelons are 4 ohm amplifiers. When it comes to highs, they're 4 ohm amplifiers. There's no reason to play them at 2 ohm.
right.
They don't want to be played at 2 ohm. They are made to be played at 4 ohm. Do they have a 2 ohm rating? Yes. Why do they have a 2 ohm rating? Because if you don't put one on there, some idiot's gonna be, oh, dude, they don't do 2 ohm, bruh.
Yeah, I know. I know. I know. I get like I don't
It's a
the pe
$280 amplifier,
the people that
bro.
check the box, they just want to check the boxes of whatever.
Yeah.
I like I'm an internet guy that says things, but there's a lot of people that want to just check the boxes of what internet guys what they say, and it's like don't live your life like that. It's not.
Thanks, Dave.
Thanks, man.
Ooh, which
You have a
reminds
good
me,
rest of your
we
weekend
don't
as
we don't
well.
have a show. We don't have a show next week. You have a week off. You have next Thursday off
Nice. Thanks,
because
boss.
I'll be at Knowledge Fest.
Knowledge Fest. Wow. Is
Yeah,
that the
that's next
kicker?
week.
Is that the Orlando one?
Yeah, yeah.
Oh,
So
nice.
that's why I was spent all morning building the kicker display so that
Yeah. Oh,
I
the JBL
with the
display.
JBL amp coming underneath it. Yes. Like I said,
Got it.
man, hey, it's a
Yeah.
great amp. I mean, everyone
Yeah.
should have that amp. I mean, honestly, for the money, it's dude,
Yeah,
8
so
channels.
it's like 369
It's
bucks or
it's
something.
so
It's
cheap,
ridiculous.
man.
It's cheap,
I
right?
mean, eh, I would buy it just to play around with. I mean, if you've never, I mean, because all right, so you buy a DSR-1 because you have amplifiers and you want a cool DSP to play with.
Right.
If you can get one right now, I mean, they're like $300. Okay.
Right.
If you don't have an amplifier though, you're kind of like, oh, I don't have anything to play with. You buy the JBL amp or even the Infinity if you only need 4 channels, but buy the JBL amp and it's like for
Yep.
dude, DSP, 8 channels of sound,
Yeah.
go to town, man. Just start playing with
Oh,
it.
dude, I got a
Software's
story for
pretty
you.
solid.
Did I
Go
tell
ahead.
you that I don't did I say this on the show that I bought a old school Ryan amp, 4
Yes.
channel,
Yeah. It
and
didn't
it
work.
burned up one of my speakers, right?
Yes.
So I sent that back. My old school plans are done on that end. So for the Trooper, I'm just gonna have old school amp that I know works and subs,
Okay.
which Dean already knows. Which left me what 4 channel am I gonna run? I want something simple. I don't want to mess with it. Um, guess what I did last Saturday? I ran to Best Buy and
Oh
bought a
god.
kicker key.
Oh, you bought another key?
I
I
bought
think
another
you
key.
said something on something where you bought another key.
Yeah, I just went and picked up another key because it's like it's the simplest. Like if you just need a simple something that sounds good and you're not like going pure SQ. I mean,
So you bought
it's
another
hard to
key.
beat. It's hard to beat, and especially if you don't want to do a lot of the tweaking yourself.
I was looking the other day. I actually own 3 kicker keys. I have
But you
2
got the 180s too, right?
I have two 180s and
Yeah,
one. So I have 2 180s. I have one 200. I have 2 501s. I have the original beta key lock that doesn't work anymore because the software is different.
yeah,
And I have obviously a current key lock that they just sent me to do this display with. Um, but it's funny because I mean, I'm like, they're so cute.
yeah, exactly.
I mean, they're so
You know
cute.
what's annoying though? The 500 is like a grip bigger than the 204.
That's
It's
they had to. They had to.
yeah. I would have
I mean,
just made the 204 bigger.
and it's funny too because Kicker is so like adamant about sharing heatsink sizes. Like
Yeah,
they will design so like all right, so like the what is it? The 401 and the 801
yeah,
SC are both the same size. Okay, circuit board same size, amplifier, everything is the same size. So they
Right.
grow the 401 out to fit the 801. So
Yeah.
they'll build the bigger amp first, and then
And
they'll
then
just grow the boards for the other amplifiers to fit inside the same heatsink. So they only have to buy, and the new amplifier line that we may see at some point this year is, I think it's only 2 heat sinks too. So
yeah, I just I
not
don't
that
know
I
that
know anything about that.
right. Oh yeah, you spilled the beans. No, but
Right.
they could have had more room for like the knob, made the knobs bigger, the dip switches bigger. I don't know. It's like to my eye, like if you want to
Well, you
run
got to
a
remember
204 and a 500,
okay,
it's like
so here's what happened. Here's what happened. The 180.4 came out first, and that was straight up Fernando build.
yeah,
And then they went back into the amplifier design, and they're like, if we change out these few components, we can get a little bit more efficient and get a little bit more power out of it. And while they were doing that, Steve and Fernando went back to the room and wanted to deal with some of the tuning issues on it, because they're like, I think we can make it sound a little better also. So 180.4 and a 200.4 don't sound the same. They're
right,
two totally different EQs. And so they already had the heatsink made. It was already in production. They weren't gonna. They just changed the silk screening and fix the board. But the 501, they yeah, because you got to remember that, like, the only reason why this amplifier exists is to compete against the Alpine 455U. That was
right,
it.
right.
This
Yeah, the power
whole
pack.
the key was made to go against Alpine's power pack. That was its intended purpose. It was never made to turn into all these other things.
Right.
You know, like
I wonder if they didn't expect it to be as popular as it's gotten for them. Was it like
no.
a shock to them? Like whoa, like
Well, okay, so I mean, you're spending money, so you always want to get your
right,
investment
right.
back. I mean, that's a
Wait,
that's a gimme. Like you need to make your money back. And in this case, I think, you know, I don't know, man.
yeah,
You're never gonna get a great answer out of them, no matter who you
yeah,
talk to or what, because it's always like, yeah, I mean, we like to sell more, or it's starting to take off, and it's like, what are your barometers for that? Because when you look at Kicker, it's like the amount of product that they
they're
sell.
selling a lot of
It's
stuff.
like,
Yeah,
for a normal, like if you compare like what Kicker sells and what like audio control sells,
right.
okay, and you say, oh, audio control says, man, we did really good this month, and then you look at Kicker and you go, man, we did really good this month. And you look at the numbers like, oh,
Right.
like Jesus
Yeah.
Christ, how was that a good
Like
month?
right.
And it's like, well,
Like they
we have
sold
like
just
8. Yeah, we
they
have
sold
10.
just in keys what you made for the whole
Yeah,
month for
yeah.
everything.
You
Yeah.
know, um, or you look at a company like Maxsonic,
Right.
and Maxsonic just sells boatloads of equipment. Holy like Bennett was telling me about their stockroom. Their
Yeah.
warehouse. It's not a stockroom, it's a warehouse. And it's just, it's like, he's like, oh my God, like, it's massive. And I, of course, said, you've never been to Kicker.
Yeah. Right.
And he's like, oh, yeah, but
I just assume like there's no engineers at Maxonics. They are a warehouse. That's my assumption. I've
what's
never been.
that?
Maxonics. I assume that there's no they don't need engineers or anything. They have a
Oh, they
marketing
do.
department and it's a warehouse.
Nope. So, okay. Funny you should ask. Hold on. Before we do that, how much would Dean say the sound quality has actually changed from speakers of yesteryear to speakers of today? Um, I don't think the speakers have changed much. I think the sound quality of the speakers are very similar. Obviously, there's tweaks, but
Right.
at the end of the day, speakers will evolve and technologies will change, and speakers will adapt to those. But to that point, the Morels that I'm running in my house, I bought back in the '90s, and they still sound
Yeah.
amazing compare them to Morels that I do every day now. So I don't think it's necessarily the speakers have changed and grown and become better with technology to make them like better and more efficient, last longer, take more abuse. But I think a lot of it comes back to electronics and just And plus, they're smarter now. Like Steve was saying, if you guys caught the show, Steve's like, dude, we're just smarter now. We can just fix it. We can fix it with
Right.
an EQ, you know?
Yeah.
So,
You get it.
um,
Someone asked about the DM. Would you consider DM more high end? I think Jesse's spot on with this.
the $8,000 ones are definitely,
Yeah, for
I
sure.
mean, but those aren't made for the American market, guys. Those aren't
Yeah.
made for you and me. Those are made for the Asian market. Um, you know, it was okay. So I don't remember what I was going to answer there, but we'll change tracks here real quick. DIY audio guy was asking about those weird radios that mount on people's dashes, and he was like, "Why would anybody do that? You know, they just get."
Right.
And it's like, okay, you got to understand other markets. So in some markets, you can't change. So in other countries, they have laws against what you can and can't do on your car. In some countries, there's no aftermarket installation. You could sell the product, but you have to install it yourself.
Right.
Okay. So that's why in Europe they have so many plug and play speakers, because you can't pull out the factory and then you have to play it, you replace it with another factory speaker.
Right.
So the speakers have to look identical. So there's really dumb laws. In some cases, you can't pull the radio out of the dash. So you
Right.
have to have something that sits on your dash or goes up in your mirror. And so there's all these dumb things. And then also in a lot of Asian countries, they really lay hard into 2-channel audio. You know,
Yeah.
everyone's over here talking about bit rate and, there's no such thing as high res audio. It doesn't exist. Oh, bullshit. Over there, you try to say that, you're going to get punched in the face, because these guys are high res audio playing motherfuckers, man. It's like they're walking around. All those guys are walking around with, Alistair Kearns and Fios or Fio. And,
Yeah.
they all have this shit. And they all have high end 2-channel audio systems, and they want that in their car. And if you look at like the reason why F1 is built the way it is, it's because they know that's going to sell in the Asian market. And if you go and look at some of the first F1 systems installed, they were in the Asian market. They weren't here in the US.
Yeah.
We're late to the party on this one, guys. When we were with Ground Zero and that big amplifier that they have that we were showing you in the video and we were talking about, that ain't for us. Like,
Yeah.
that thing's gonna be like $6,000-7,000.
It's how it's been since forever. Like,
Yeah.
like the high end Pioneer where they got Coriza or whatever.
Yeah, Carazera or some
Yeah,
shit like that.
like they had so much dope. We got a lot of cool stuff from Pioneer too.
Oh yeah.
But they had so much dope stuff that just never made its way over here.
Yeah. Oh no. And there again, like it was funny because all the Ground Zero guys were so excited about that amplifier. And I'm just looking at it and they're telling me, and I'm like, I don't even want to ask how much this is. I'm not going to, because I know. I'm like, dude, and I know it is a direct competitor for Tony's amplifier. Like, it is a dual mono design. It is discrete, everything. I mean, it's literally like they said, son of a bitch, he made the amplifier we've been trying to make. Well, fuck him. We're gonna make one too, damn it. And we're gonna make it so expensive, and who gives a shit? So put it this way, guys. As far as high-end audio goes, whatever you feel is high end in your wallet is high end, but there's always a bigger picture. There's always the next car. You go buy a Rolls Royce, there's going to be something better than a Rolls Royce. If you buy a Porsche, there's a Ferrari. If you buy a Ferrari, there's a Lamborghini. If you buy a Lamborghini, there's those other cars I can't pronounce, the Pagani, whatever.
Yeah.
And you buy that, there's another one there. There's always something better. Okay. What you have to decide is what is high end for your world, and that's all that matters. That's all that matters. Shoot for the stars, man.
Exactly. Save up for what you want. Don't buy the cheap stuff. I mean, unless you just want something cheap, like if you truly want something, save up for it. Get the good one first.
Fernando and I were talking about something today, and I told him it was a company that we deal with, and about how they bought another company like 13 years ago because they knew that they wanted to be somewhere. They knew they wanted to be somewhere, and this was the company. They had the money. They bought this other company, and they spent the last 13 years developing this product. and now it's available in their product. And I said, listen, man, as I've always said, if you got time, you got money, you can make anything happen.
Yeah.
You know, the problem is we sometimes don't have time, but we got money, or we don't have money and we got time. When you can bring those two things together, patience will get you anything you want in this world. Okay.
Yeah.
Patience, desire, a will to do it, you'll get it. It just, you know, the problem is everyone wants instantaneous gratification. We're all the
Right.
now society. Oh, what are you going to do for me now, bro?
Yep.
You know, I'm from the age where, you know, you had to use a phone book. There wasn't internet.
If you wanted to see a movie like Top Gun Maverick, you had to call and see what time it was playing.
Yes, movie phone. And
Movie
before
phone.
that, you know, you had to call to order a pizza. You had to annoy those guys and be like, "Hey,
Right.
what's your specials this week?" You know, and then you had to drive to go get it
Yeah.
or walk because you didn't have a car. You know, so you know we know what it's like to wait. You know, now it's like Amazon shit's there in 2
Yeah.
days.
I don't blame them.
I
I'd be
mean,
the same
that
way.
actually sucks because we used to be able to just go to the store and buy it. You know?
Right.
It's like,
Yeah.
and if it wasn't in the store, it didn't exist.
Yeah, we didn't know about it.
I didn't know about
I
it. You know?
called I called Esoteric Audio Esoteric for 10 years because I didn't know any better.
Exactly. That's what happens. Great show, man. Great idea.
Yeah.
Good
Yeah.
topic. As I said, this is the most serious 12-volt show in the industry.
Very serious.
Other than the news that's on tomorrow morning at 9 o'clock on Dean and Fernando's Car Stereo Clips. So if you want to know what's going on in the world of 12-volt, make sure to tune into the news. It's a fun time. It really is. It's the best news there is. We don't talk about none of that depressing.
There's a legit weather segment, so don't miss it. A legit weather segment.
Oh yeah, there's legit weather. I love the weather, man.
Yeah,
dude, I am so happy that the news has brought back the weather because, like, when we first started Facebook, we would talk like that was what we always talked about, the weather, because we're like, where you at? What's the weather?
Right.
And so I'm happy that we got to bring that back. That was really fun.
Me too. Listen, every Friday I'm off. I'll make sure I wake up early so I can catch it.
It's a good time. It's a good time. I love doing the news. I always have. Dean put the teleprompter away. I know. I know. Ooh, speaking of teleprompter, have you seen that new Black Magic piece that they have?
No, I haven't.
It's a new fucking with a knob and records.
Black Magic has everything cool, and it costs $1 million.
I know. I totally want to buy one. I was so close to buying one. I'm like, wait for it. But and you can buy multiples, and one of the features of it has a teleprompter. And I was like, oh shit, why do I need that? I don't, but damn.
I want it.
I want it. Because every now, like, sometimes we'll have to do ads for like Knowledge Fest.
Right.
And Fernando and I will take turns like trying to read shit. And it's so much torture. So much torture. We're so better if we can just ad lib shit.
Me too.
But like, we're just trying to hit like talking points. Oh God. It's so bad.
All right. No show next week.
No shows next week, guys. I apologize. But make sure you tune into 5-Star, the 5-Star Network, both Instagram and YouTube, because we'll be live throughout the whole Knowledge Fest, of course, doing our thing, keeping you guys up to date. We're going to do the show floor tour. We're going to be there with Kickers, so we'll show you what Kickers got going on, as well as everybody else. Audison is going to be introducing a whole new line of products that they're not going to have there to show, but they're going to tell us all about them. So
hopefully once new DSPs.
Anyways, you guys are going to have to wait till next week. We'll tell you all about them then.
What about Monday? Monday show?
Huh?
Facebook Monday show?
Yeah.
Cool.
We'll do Facebook. So Saturday show this week, Monday show, and then Monday show when we get back, we'll do the recap.
Nice.
So hopefully, Chris Vera is supposed to be there, so
nice.
Hang out with him a little bit. Maybe I'll get him on the show and he can walk around with us and
make him wear his Best Buy shirt.
Make him wear his Best Buy shirt. I like having. So when we were at Master Tech Expo, I had Fernando and Fro do the show.
Right.
I was busy, so that was fun. Because like when I don't have to be part of it, I have. It's such a relief.
Yeah.
It's like, here, Fernando, you guys go do the show. And he hates it. He hates it when I do that. He hates it with a patch. You guys have no idea how much he hates that. But I enjoy every minute of it because I don't have to do it.
Yeah.
So
And then sometimes you have time to get in the comments and troll a little bit.
no. Usually, if I'm not doing it, that means I'm doing something else. So, like
Yeah.
at Master Tech, I was literally manning the booth. So I set up the feed, and I was like, "All right, and here's Fernando and Fro. Go,
Bye.
go, have fun. See you guys in an hour."
There we go.
Yes, Best Buy Chris. That's right.
Best
He'll
by
be there.
Chris. All right, you guys watch Side Tag. We're talking about Top Gun Maverick.
All right, see you guys. Have a great week. See you in 2.